So I am Ashi Agarwal. I am currently working as a software developer engineer at Amazon. I am alumni of UPS.
I'll just give an overview, since most of our audience, I'm assuming, will be transitioning from a school environment to a college environment. So I'll just give my introduction as I am this is Shivam Shrivastava. I am working as a member of technical staff at VMware, and I was I am a UPS alumni. I graduated in 2018 from computer science specialization in cybersecurity and forensics from UPS there.
Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and hit the bell icon to never miss an update.
Be considered most probably in the third year or after second year at least. We should focus on internships as well.
Yeah, so these were some really valuable points. And the students are too caught up in this fancy technologies that they don't focus on basics. That happens quite a lot. So, like you said, that a student should go and solve problems, and to deploy their skills, they should do sort of internships and other things. So we see there's quite a gap between the industry and the college. So how do students overcome that gap?
Okay, so to this question, I'll ask you a question.
Yeah.
What kind of gaps you think? What kind of gaps you think there exist between industry and a college?
There are gaps like in the college, I'm writing code like just for the sake of writing code, just to do my project, just to complete them. But when I go to the industry, there are certain standards that I need to follow, certain guidelines that I need to follow. So sometimes it's quite hard for someone who is just going into industry. How does he see these things? So how to overcome?
I think writing code is I think it is kind of a personal thing to me. I'll give you an example. There are various student chapters or co-curricular related chapters, such as who perform dramatics, who gives very amazing performance when it comes to dance and singing. Now there is nobody in college who is teaching it. It's just the interest of a student who is who has come into an agreement that no matter what happens, I'm not going to drop my standards below this level or that level. So same is with coding itself. See, as a college student, I know that okay, there exists a gap. Then shouldn't it be responsibility of a student to at least identify what kind of gaps? Why are we waiting for someone else to come and just poke us or force us to do things certain way? And believe me, there are teachers who do try to do this, and when they try to do is we are not very much comfortable either with the subject or either with the teacher or either with the course. So what I would say is I think we know what the problem is, we also know what the solution is, but we are not willing enough to make those commitments or those jump where we overcome those gaps. Because if I'm pretty much sure that as a college student, I know what kind of things we are lacking behind in terms of technology or in terms of project. We all as a student know. It's just what I would say, for a student, for a majority of students in UPS, is we have the brains, but we don't have the stomach to pull it off. We are most often caught up with our semester pointers. We are like, I am not saying that pointers does not matter. It does. Most of the companies, if you see, they do maintain a criteria of a 70%, minimum 70%. What I'm trying to say is, in a given semester, you will know what subject interests you and what subject does not interest you. And I think we all are smart enough to think on what subject we should focus on more and what subject we shouldn't focus. It the be given upon based upon academic importance, because there was a student, or there was a friend of mine who was into our batch, and he simply did not care about what his pointer was. All what mattered to him was the technology or the concepts which interested him, and he was miles ahead from the rest of the class, miles ahead. He was like, nobody even nobody used to think of cutting that particular student from our class. And what I'm saying is, it won't be like that, you won't get intimidated on the result day that why am I scoring so low. But that is the trade-off which I think a student should take some risk, because see, when you are into industry, you have to follow certain set of standards, certain set of protocols, since you have a deadline.
Yeah.
So college is the only place where you can take risks, and I think you should, because that will give you what kind of approach works for you, what kind of approach does not work for you. And also it will also develop a mindset of a student where he'll be more focused towards the job profile rather than the amount or the package which a particular company is offering. Because most of the times students do go for a package based offer without even exploring or analyzing what kind of job profile it is.
Yeah.
And then they are kind of stuck into that zone. They're not enjoying it there. They become they are now frustrated with what kind of work they are doing. So I think exploring yourself is the best way to go around in the college. And believe me, we have the right teachers in our college. It's just that students are very much or very far away from exploring themselves, that they don't end up with a teacher who is also exploring those kind of things, where teacher and a student can collaborate. Because during our time, the cybersecurity batch in 2018, we were lucky enough to have those teachers. And I think our class as a whole, because that was the first batch, so I think the whole batch was experimenting it with how to move forward with the course curriculum. So I think, yes, exploring is something you should look forward to it.
So what are your views about this, Ashik?
Yeah, so talking about gaps, basically gaps comes when we don't know what practices are followed at industry. So we should, I think, explore, like everyone has the internet today. So if we just search for the best practices of coding, or we have so many books to read about best practices, just to get the grasp of what standards are followed. They are not difficult to actually implement in your day-to-day life. Like if you're coding and this is the best design pattern to be followed for this type of approach, you can easily, they are meant to actually simplify your coding or simplify your code. So if you follow those design patterns, you will easily be able to change your code. They are actually built on that principle only, that we can easily modularize our code. So I think we should at least go on the internet and look for what are the best practices. And once we know what are the best practices, it is easier for us to actually implement those inside our projects. And we will actually find the difference between like writing the boilerplate code and just implementing things in a line by line manner, and then following best OOPS practices and then writing the code. When we come back to the code again and want to change something, it will be very easy for us if we have followed some design patterns. So like in major or minor projects which we do at college, I think in those as well we should follow some design pattern, which I think you can easily just Google it and you will get how things work at industry. At least best practices or best design patterns which are followed is the main gap which I think people face at just immediately moving to industry, because industry follows some design patterns, but they are not different from what we can actually learn in college. So
Yeah.
I have seen people learning design patterns in college as well. So yeah, we can do that
Okay.
to bridge this gap.
I think hopefully some students get value out of this. And so we did our basics. We explored all the options that we had. We chose our technologies. We did our internships. But in the last, it's gonna come down to our placements. So how does one prepare for those placements, and what should be the mindset of someone going into the placement?
So I'll start. So preparing for placements, which we can start in middle of our third year, like when one semester is left for us, we need to brush up more on our coding, like for problem solving skills. Not every day, since we have to focus in on projects as well in third year. But yeah, just keep it smooth that you are able to solve medium level questions, like medium level difficulty questions easily and with within time range of 20 minutes. So what I should say is for preparing for placements, first thing should be doing the medium level difficulty questions in 20 minutes and difficult level questions at least in 40 minutes to 1 hour, not more than that. Since if you are coding from 3 years, medium level questions will be very easy for you, and even difficult level questions won't be that hard for you. So like main thing is you should start for the preparing for your placements from your first year, which is starting the coding and doing. So all these product based companies only ask data structures and algorithms for and most on the basics like DBMS or networking. So they don't ask anything related to technologies much until you have a lot of projects and which you can showcase them, and they can ask some questions related to your resume obviously, but most of the time the product based companies ask the data structures and algorithms, which is the main thing they're looking for. Then to start applying for jobs and all, I would say maintain a good LinkedIn profile. There's a channel of Akshay Saini. You can watch that channel. He has 2 or 3 videos on LinkedIn profile, GitHub profiles, and on resumes, how to build a strong resume. I watched those videos while building my resume and my LinkedIn profile, and my resume got selected at many places. So I would recommend anyone should watch those videos to build their resume. There should be a good resume while applying to companies off campus, and then you can just search on their career websites and go and just apply over there. Look for only the positions which are for graduates. Just applying for 2 to 3 years experience person won't result in anything, and you'll just disheartened. So apply for like in Google, Amazon, all these companies provide university graduates opening. So I think we should apply it to them first. And apart from that, preparing would be mostly around brushing up on your projects, what you did exactly in those. If you have worked on the project, then you must know what you did in that project, what technology you used. Yeah, I think these are the main things which we should focus on, and mostly on the basics, because these companies actually look for basics. And if you want to join a startup to like in the initial period, then they mostly go into technologies. So whichever technology is your best, focus on that, do projects on that, so you can easily showcase that I did this thing to and I use these concepts and how I built this project. That is all required. And if the profile is not in your interest, just don't care about it. If like you just can't go for the package, you need to look into what they are offering and what work they're expecting from you. So if you have a good profile in hand, then you should stick to that profile. Basics are DS Algo and one technology, whatever suits you the best.
Sir, what are your views?
Yeah, so I'll just to start on this explainer, I'll just give you an example. What we tend to think, we tend to think, okay, that I have worked so hard on my data structures, I have worked so hard on projects, that I will be eligible and I'll break through in all and every company which is coming into my campus. And let's say if a student fails to get into a company despite working hard, he or she thinks tends to think that all my efforts from the past 4 years has gone into waste, and I am not good enough. It's not like that. It's been 2.5 years since I've been into industry, and I have also conducted interviews. The company tends to find what is the right fit, not who is the best amongst the candidate which is coming. Let's suppose if I'm looking for an Android developer, and the person who gave the best interview was from a background of web developer. Now it doesn't make sense for me to hire someone who is an web developer and I'm looking for an Android developer. So what I would say is, and as Ashish said that, our preparation starts from day one when we move into college, and that is something which we need to think, and this is something which we need to keep in mind, that okay, there should be a balance between my pointer and my preparation for my placement. And I'll also point out one thing, what I saw when I was in my college, or to an extent I also followed that same thing, was I used to think, okay, let's leave it for placements, we'll see during that time, we'll work during that time. And that never happens, because right now I have a subject, and there is a dedicated class to it, there is a dedicated assignment, basically there is a dedicated time. So now when I have a dedicated time, if I'm not able to maintain a minimum basic level, then what is the chance that I'll be able to build when I don't have time dedicated for this particular subject? I don't have dedicated classes to this. So it is very difficult. It may seem easy, but it is very difficult. So one should focus in, one should keep one thing in mind, while going through the semester subject, is that once this semester is over, I might not get time to come back to it and start from scratch. I will only get time to just go through what are these concepts, or what are these, okay, I did this and that. You won't get time to come into your pre-final year, or at the beginning of fourth year, and brush up those skills, because you simply won't have the time. Over the course of our 4 years, I think we study around roughly say 12 to 15 subjects. Now if we come into our placements, even if we try to give 1 hour to each subject, that will be 15 hours a day. And I'm not talking about my minor or major, or certain events, certain things comes up from out of nowhere. So it is, logically it is kind of almost impossible to give 15 hours dedicatedly non-stop, 1 hour each to a subject. So this is something which you need to think of. You need to say that my suggestion to all the students who will be starting their college, or who are midway into their college, is that for every subject make a goal. And I would recommend scoring marks should not be on top of your goals. You should set a goal related to a subject, that okay, this particular subject interests me, and I would try to take these many things. For example, I took out an example. There was a subject in my curriculum, computer graphics. So and I did not score good in that particular subject, but that particular subject had by far the best impact on me, because that was the subject where we actually worked, we actually got to know how to work on algorithms, how to code an algorithm which is written in a textbook, and to convert that particular algorithm into an actual working code. Because my goal from that particular subject was to gain that skills where I can convert a given set of explained detailed concept into a working code. So I think everyone should do. So to put another example, if we have a data structures course in our curriculum, so what we should do is, maybe we should narrow it down that okay, stack, queues, arrays, linked lists, trees, graphs. I'm going to work on those topics only. And irrespective of whether I'm able to solve a problem or not, I should at least know which kind of data structures is implemented into what kind of a problem. And one more thing I would like to point out is, when we start coding on this online platform, we tend to categorize our problems topic wise, that okay, today I'm going to solve the problem of arrays. Now, when you know that you're going to solve a problem of arrays without even reading the question, in your mind you know that okay, array will be used in this particular question. So you are taking away the scope of exploring the problem. You're taking away the scope of creativity. Even before reading the thing, I won't be, going even through the whole question. I'll just gather the data points and I'll just try using arrays. If I'm working on an array category problem, I'll just start working on array and solving it. Now, that is actually not helping, because a problem should be that which forces me to think. Writing code is, how should I say, it's the last part of it. If you have the logic ready, if you have well thought on the problem, it becomes very easy. And that the part where you think, that actually improves you, not writing the code. Because writing the code is as good as what you are thinking. And if you go and interact with people or students from different colleges, the only difference comes on the thinking part of it.
Okay.
So that would be my advice. If you are attempting a question, just don't look for what kind of category it belongs to. Just pick a question and just think on it. Just think. To solve 10 problems in 10 days or 100 problems in 100 days. No, you should be like, whether I'm able to think, whether working on a problem is actually improving my thinking skills or not. Because it has been 2.5 years in industry in VMware, and believe me, the only one of the important factors which matters when you work into the field of software engineering is your creativity. What is you bringing onto the table? It's not about what is company is going to support you if they see a lack of an intent of creativity within yourself. They're going to back you up. But if you just only know how to use the framework, how to use certain libraries, then that won't be sustaining you for very long. You see, when you are fundamentally strong, right? When you're fundamentally strong, even the rejection from the company doesn't tend to, lower your confidence. You are just somehow confident that okay, I'll make something work out for myself. But when you lack those basics, see, every college student will know that whether they are good or whether they are bad. Deep down, they'll know whether they are willing to accept it or not. That's a different story. But deep down, they'll know that they are good or they are bad. And I have seen the person who are fundamentally good. Job, not they were more, like, getting a job was not a area of concern. They are all focused about what kind or what quality of food they will be getting.
So thank you so much for joining. It has been great consuming insights from you. So anything that you would like to say to students whose placements are just coming? I think you just made them look pale, that they haven't done anything.
See, one of my 4 years of experience working and interacting with different people, what I would recommend them is, never underestimate yourself. One tends to in India, when a student tends to underestimate itself when he or she thinks he does not belong to a certain brand of students. One shouldn't undermine themselves, and your work or your 4 years of your hard work will eventually pay off. If it isn't paying it right away, that doesn't mean that it won't pay in the long future. Like, I have literally seen my friend who got placed into a company, and then he started working on himself, and then he got admission into IIT Bombay, coming a UPS student, getting an gate rank of 55, and then going into IIT Bombay. And also one more thing I would like to say is, if you think that your learning will stop after 4 years, then that is not true. That is simply not true. So the dialogues which we used to hear in our childhood, that 10th अच्छे से कर लो तो ऐशी है, 12th से कर लो तो college अच्छे कर लो तो ऐश. वो अगर आप ऐश, if you're thinking that you won't be working or learning, then it won't be good. So what I'll say is, even if you fail, the students who are appearing in their placements, even if you fail, you go back, you identify what you like, and you work hard on it. Believe me, the company or the tech industry has a lot of opportunities to offer. They are just not finding the right people.
So Ashish, your thoughts?
My insight would be just go through the process, try every door, and try to get something from that process, and enjoy the process. That is the most important thing. Is we need to enjoy the process and then move forward. So we may get rejections, or we may get successful in the starting itself, but if even if you're getting rejected, just get something from that process, work on that skill, and move forward. For me, I initially failed around 10 interviews, and after that, even before getting into Amazon, I got 2 to 3 offers, and then even though I learned from every interview, I had something that I need to work on this set of skill, and I worked on that, and I got into Amazon. So I believe that learning at every step is important. So even in these interviews, you get to know some of your weaknesses, some of the areas which you need to improve upon. So try to work on that. You'll definitely get a success in terms of that.
Okay. So thank you so much for doing this once again, and hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I wish you all the best for your future endeavors.
Yeah,
Thank you so much,
thanks,
Ashlet.
Astrid.
Thank you for calling us.